Install Postgres 16. Install Redis 7. Create a database, create a user, set 6 environment variables. That README costs every new developer a day, and it is quietly wrong within a month. Today we delete it. And the failure is not carelessness. It is predictable. Setup instructions live in prose, so they drift. Someone adds a table by hand and mentions it in chat. Half the team ends up on a different Postgres version because that is what their package manager had. 6 months later, nobody can build the project from scratch, and the only environments that work are the ones nobody ever rebuilt. So here is the pattern. Declare the environment in a file that runs. Every service, its exact version, its configuration, and its startup order in version control beside the code. When the environment changes, that change is a diff in a pull request, reviewable, revertible, and impossible to forget to tell anyone about. 3 details separate a compose file that works from one people fight with. Healthchecks, because a database opens its port several seconds before it will accept a connection, and that gap is the cold start race. Profiles, so you can boot the database without booting a search cluster. And named volumes, because they are the entire reason the data outlives the container. And you have met this pattern already. Compose is the everyday version. Dev containers and code spaces push it further, declaring the editor and toolchain too. Test containers applies it per test run, so integration tests bring their own database instead of assuming one. Tilt and scaffold point the same idea at a cluster once compose is no longer enough. Here is ours. Postgres pinned to 16, a profile so it starts only when core is asked for, a named volume for the data, and the health check PG is ready, not a port check because the port lies. That last line is what makes one command actually mean one command. So one command, profile core detached and -- wait, which is the flag that makes the health check earn its place. Compose creates the network, creates the volume, starts the container, and then blocks until Postgres reports healthy. Not started, healthy. And that status is not cosmetic. Compose calls the container healthy only once PG is ready succeeds, which means Postgres will genuinely accept a connection. It is what a dependent service waits on, instead of sleeping 5 seconds and hoping. Now point the application at it. Same code, same endpoints, one profile flag is the whole difference. And watch what it does on the way up. Hibernate reads the Postgres dialect instead of H2, checks the schema against a database that already exists, and connects over TCP to a server outside this process. None of that happened in episode 2 because there was nothing to connect to. Second terminal, and let's ask the application what it is actually talking to. This endpoint derives its answer from the live connection rather than a hard-coded string, so it cannot lie to us. Postgres 16, a server this process connects to. And here is the whole episode in one move. Publish a video. Restart the database container, the process the data lives in is gone. Ask for it again. Still there. In episode 2, that same restart would have taken everything with it because the database was inside the application. Now it is not. Two honest limits before you copy this. Compose is a development environment, no rolling updates, no auto-scaling, no secret management, so shipping it to production is how teams end up editing YAML on a server at 2 in the morning. And our tests still run on H2 while the app runs on Postgres. That is a real parity gap. The fix is test containers, and it gets its own episode rather than a footnote here. The compose file, the profile, and the decision record for why this never ships to production are all on the branch. Next episode, we finally cut something out of the monolith, the strangler fig.